Still hard coding URLs, username, browser name in your Playwright test. Stop right now. In this video, I will show you Config.Property.json file which has list of configurations, and Config.Java file which has getter setter method to read or write the value from this config.property.json file, and config reader class to read this properties file. So let's get started. What is in the config.property.json file? In config.property.json file has URL, username, password, browser, headless mode, timeout, navigation timeout, environment QA, and parallel execution false, worker 2, retry count 1, screenshot on failure 2, video on failure 2, true, test data pass, src test resources, test data, reporting path, screenshot path. All these things I have mentioned in this config.property.json file that is very mandatory in my framework. So we come to the config file. Config file, I have used all these variables that are used in this properties file, and after that I have used getter setter method to get the value and to set the value. Means to say whatever the value in the properties file come through the set method, and in the parameter I have passed the value, and then whatever the variables in the config.property.json file all are in config file, and the getter setter method for that also. After that I come to config reader class, and in the config reader class I have given one path, like a file path is the config path, where I have given where is the property.json file exists. After that I create one function load config, and the return type is config, and then I have created the object of properties class, and it is under the util package, and initialize the memory. After that I've used the file input stream object and initialize with the file input stream and passed out the whatever the config path. Then I have used properties.load method and pass the input stream, and then I have create the object of config, and then I have used set base URL, in which set base URL I have passed properties dot get property base URL. Means we are reading through the reading the value of base URL and passed in the config file set base URL, like the same way username, password, browser, headless, timeout, means whatever the variable, all the variable I have used the set method there. And the return type of this load config is config object, and it is under the try catch. So IO exception, if the file is not there, the exception will come. And I have, after that I have used, because I'm using the base test method that are used before every test it will run. So go to that and go to the before method, and then I have created the config reader object outside, and then initialize the memory in the setup method, and create the object of config of a class object, and initialize reader dot load config method, and then page object will pass. I have called the playwright factory dot initialize browser that I already discussed in the previous video. So playwright factory dot initialize browser, there I am passing the browser and URL too, and when I have just called this method, if you want to go to that, go to initial browser where the Chrome browser will open. If we pass Chrome, then Chrome browser will open, either otherwise Firefox or WebKit. And the return type is page. When because initialize browser also I have called the navigate method also, so it will return the page object. After that, the username variable and password variable I have declared, in which I have passed config.get username and get password. So it returns this page. After method like playwright.close browser method will call. Now we come to the login test class. src test java test. There is a login test, there is multiple tests, so I have just used this one. Base test object I have created and initialized the memory, then page object I have created, in which base test dot setup method will call. And then page dot get by placeholder username, that is pass with the username from the base test object, base test variable username and base test variable password also, and then click on login also. Then print out login done method is login is done is written. So when I execute it, right click on test file and run as testng.test file, and it takes some time. The Chrome browser will open, and with the orange HRM website with the login page and username and password are entered, and then click on login button. And the test get passed. And benefits of this config reader class or configuration file: it is like easy maintenance, environment switching, reusable framework, industrial standard design. If you are building a Playwright TestNG framework from scratch, subscribe now and follow the complete framework series. In the next video, I will show you how to use the page object model. Like we will create different pages for different tests.